Would you look at that? 20 to 6, daylight saving time in the afternoon. And here's Dizzy, the disabled kangaroo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know, you don't normally come in for a feed in the afternoon, do you? But it has been raining, and you're old. Come on, back you come. It's okay. Poor old girl. She recently had difficulty getting through a fence, yet again, and opened up the very bottom edge of her old leg wound. So she has been sticking around pretty close to my place. Yes, you're a good girl, aren't you? Yes. So because she's old and she's infirm and she's carrying 2 injuries, i.e. a brachial plexus lesion on her right shoulder, which has paralysed her right arm, or right forearm, forelimb. As well as a bad cut on that right leg. It took me 6 months to clear up that cut. I am prepared to give her a little bit of extra multi-grain bread, something with enough roughage to maybe not get stuck on the back teeth. Yes, cognitive dissonance. It's a windy afternoon, isn't it? And when it's windy, even the most trusting, friendly, wild, unfenced marsupials just can't help being twitchy. It's not their fault. Only twitchy because they know that when it's windy, 10,000 years worth of epigenetic fine-tuning, their neurocircuitry prepares them to expect somebody to sneak up on them with a spear. It's a kind of a cultural override. Can't say it's a reflex, but the fact is, if you're a herbivore living in the forest, then on a windy day, predators can sneak up on you, so you have to be twitchy whenever the wind blows. And the wind is blowing. You may not be able to hear it on the mobile phone microphone, but Dizzy has got really, really good hearing. Now, after a couple of slices of bread, we have to do something to get the bread dough off the back of her teeth. Otherwise, the bread dough might well go rotten and get stuck there and cause an abscess. Yeah, see, she likes the bread better, but she's also quite prepared to eat Vita-Wheat biscuits. And Vita-Wheat biscuits are sort of hard, and they break up into chunky bits. And my theory is that in the variable fluid dynamic cavity of her mouth, the chunks of the Vita-Wheat biscuits are going to dislodge any dough that might otherwise be sticking to the teeth. And if there's no dough sticking to the back of her teeth, then therefore she's not going to suffer from a jaw abscess, and she won't get septicemia, and she won't die. And currently, the absolute record for a wild unfenced marsupial eating my treat food in only one place, which is right here, because they've designated my hut as a sacred site, and I recognise them, so they're not allowed to get overfed. The record is 11 years of eating my bread before a marsupial dies, and the last one to die after 11 years of eating bread, died of a broken leg, a fractured femur, from a car hit, which probably happened on my neighbour's driveway because that's the nearest place you can get hit by a car. And that's 350 miles away, 350 metres away, and 60 metres down, 60 feet downhill, 20 metres, as you can possibly guess. It's sundown and one is not entirely sober. But that's the story. The Parks and Wildlife Ranger has seen my videos and assured me that it is not illegal for a title deed holder on private land to feed treat food to the wild, unfenced native fauna. They don't like you to do it in their national parks because a series of transient tourists are unaware of which animal has already been fed. Whereas I recognise their faces, as do some of my subscribers in countries all over the world. Canada, America, England, Scotland, Denmark, France. People recognise my swamp wallabies. People recognise my kangaroos. So do I. The other thing is I actually understand a fair bit, well, enough to get by on, kangaroo and swamp wallaby body language and some vocalisations. So I don't often transgress their social boundaries, and very, very rare do any of them, swing a claw at me. And when they do, they've got needle sharp fingernails, so to speak, so it can draw blood. But for all these reasons, Parks and Wildlife tell people, no. Bread is bad for kangaroos because if you keep them locked up in a backyard, in a town or a city, and feed them nothing but bread because they've already eaten all the grass, then yeah, they will die of septicemia from abscesses, lumpy jaw. But if they just live in the forest and they feel like turning up at the local pet tame human's place and having a feed, it's no drama. See? She's had enough. It doesn't mean that she's eaten everything that's there. She's like a well-mannered guest. She did not eat the last biscuit on the plate. And there she is, scratching the tummy, having a look. She knows she's being talked about. She's pretty happy. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.